in the golden promise of the West, where hope for a new life carried families across vast frontiers. One wagon train set out with dreams of California, and instead found themselves trapped in a struggle that would become America's most haunting pioneer tragedy. In the spring of 1846, nearly 90 men, women, and children left Illinois, following the call of adventure and the lure of fertile lands far to the west. Among them were George Donner and James Reed, two brothers-in-law leading their families toward the Pacific. With wagons laden with supplies and dreams, they joined others who sought new lives in the distant West. For many, the journey was as much about escaping the hardships of their past as it was about embracing the promise of the frontier. At first, the trail they followed was well worn. The Oregon Trail, a path blazed by countless others who had ventured west before them. Here, the hardships were manageable, the challenges predictable, the camaraderie comforting. Days turned into weeks, the wagons rolling steadily westward, but the allure of the unknown soon began to overshadow the hardships of the journey. Rumors of a shorter, easier route, the Hastings Cutoff, whispered promises of a swifter passage to the Sierra Nevada. Hopeful for a quicker journey, the travelers decided to abandon the safety of the established trail and turn onto the scarcely traveled Hastings Cutoff. And here the tranquility of the journey ended. The path ahead was treacherous, a labyrinth of mountains, salt flats and desert that offered little sustenance or respite. George and James, once confident leaders, now grappled with decisions that tested their mettle. Each mile brought new challenges, forcing them to navigate through towering mountains, traverse vast salt flats, and endure scorching desert heat. As weeks turned into months, the travelers realized they had been misled. The promised shortcut was proving to be a perilous detour. The Donner Party's ordeal was far from over. By the time they neared the Sierra Nevada, winter had arrived early and with a vengeance. Heavy, wet snow blanketed the mountain passes, effectively sealing their fate. Trapped at Truckee Lake, the travelers watched as the relentless snow transformed their surroundings into a white, silent tomb. Their dream of reaching California in time for the mild winter there had turned into a desperate fight for survival against the harsh realities of the unforgiving Sierra. As days turned into weeks, the snow piled higher, isolating the trapped pioneers from the rest of the world. The wagons were buried, fires struggled to burn, and spirits began to dwindle along with their food supplies. Faced with dwindling resources and a seemingly endless winter, the trapped pioneers were forced to make an agonizing decision. They would divide into two groups, with one attempting to trek over the mountains to seek help, and the other staying behind to guard their camp and wait for rescue. George Donner, his wife, Tamsin, and their 3 children were among those who opted to stay put, clinging to the hope that help would arrive soon. Meanwhile, James Reed, his wife, Elizabeth, and their 4 children joined the group venturing over the mountains. Yet, even as they set off, the odds of survival seemed stacked against them. The journey was fraught with peril, with deep snowdrifts, treacherous paths, and dwindling supplies. Reed and his company battled not only the elements, but also the gnawing fear of what awaited them back at the lake. Would the remaining supplies last? Would they be met with the grim specter of starvation upon their return? Meanwhile, back at the lake, George and Tamsin Donner huddled with their children for warmth, sharing stories and hopes to keep their spirits aloft. They rationed their remaining food, each bite a prayer for the coming spring, for the sun to melt the snow and set their wagons rolling again. Days turned into weeks, hope flickered, then dimmed. As the snow continued to fall, the isolation pressing in on them, the Donner family and those who stayed behind grew weaker. Hunger pangs intensified, shaping their days and haunting their nights. The playful banter of children gave way to the haunting quiet of the grave. As the snows piled up, the travelers at the lake struggled to stay alive. The dire situation prompted an unthinkable choice. Some of the trapped individuals made the heartbreaking decision to venture out into the freezing wilderness, hoping to find help or supplies. They battled blizzards, crossed frozen rivers, and pushed on despite exhaustion and hunger. But the unforgiving terrain claimed some of the travelers, and those who didn't succumb to the elements returned with heavy hearts, bearing witness to the harsh realities of their fate. Yet, amidst the bleakness, acts of kindness and courage emerged. The trapped pioneers shared their dwindling food supplies, helping the weakest among them to endure. Stories were shared, games were played, and songs were sung to keep despair at bay. In the face of death, the bonds of community and humanity shone brightly. Back at the lake, news of potential rescuers spurred a surge of hope. Teams were formed to signal for help, to build shelters, and to prepare for the eventual arrival of relief. Each day brought renewed determination, a testament to the enduring spirit of humanity in the face of such grim circumstances. Then, finally, as if answering their desperate pleas, a breakthrough occurred. A rescue party led by John Stark, a member of the original group who had successfully trekked over the mountains, arrived at the scene. Relief flooded the camp as the rescue party distributed food, blankets, and medicine to the starving and frostbitten survivors. The Donner family and others who had endured the harrowing ordeal at the lake were overjoyed. In the end, the rescue operation proved to be a race against time and suffering. While some survivors clung to life, others perished despite the valiant efforts of the rescue parties. Of the nearly 90 people who had embarked on the journey with dreams of a better life, only about half remained. When the full extent of the tragedy became known, a collective grief and sorrow swept across the nation. The Donner Party's ordeal had not only been a personal tragedy, but a stark reminder of the harsh realities of pioneering on the American frontier. The tale of the Donner Party continues to captivate and horrify, serving as a reminder of the extremes of human endurance and the terrible costs of miscalculation on the unforgiving frontier. The story isn't just about a tragic event in history, but about the indomitable spirit of the human soul in the face of unimaginable adversity. It raises questions about leadership, the allure of the unknown, and the thin line between hope and despair. The Donner family's journey from Illinois to California was more than just a trek across the American wilderness. It was a journey into the heart of human resilience, courage, and the unbreakable bonds of family. George and Tamsin Donner, along with their children, became symbols of hope and perseverance, their story echoing through generations. Their ordeal at Truckee Lake serves as a haunting reminder of the fragility of life and the strength of the human spirit in the face of despair. When we look back at the Donner Party's story, we see more than just a cautionary tale. We see a microcosm of the human experience, one marked by both darkness and light. Theirs is a story that compels us to confront the brutality of our past, while celebrating the indomitable spirit that has allowed us to learn from, and ultimately overcome such harrowing chapters in human history. So, what do you think? Was the Donner Party's fate sealed by cruel nature, or by the decision to take an untested path? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to hear more forgotten tales of the American frontier, don't forget to like and subscribe for more journeys into history's hidden shadows.